All right, artists, today we are going to be making our own O'Keefe sky clouds. Now, the first thing you need to do is get a blue piece of paper and a pencil, and you need to write your name and class code, and then flip it over. And then you can trade your pencil in for a brush. Once you've done that, you can get started. I have paint palettes that have these 3 paints in them. On your paint palette, you will not have the dark blue and this extra white yet. You are just going to be using these 4 colors to start. Now, O'Keefe's top of her sky clouds was a mixture of purples, pinks, and light blues. On the bottom half was dark blues. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to maybe start with some purple. And I'm going to be going left and right. So if you think about the sky, it wouldn't be circles. It would be going from left to right when you think of this, how the sky looks from up above. So I'm going to fill this in with the paint. A little bit of purple. If you want to drop in some white, you can, to kind of get some tints of that color. So by adding white, I make a lighter version of purple. So we call that a tint of purple. And so you can see I'm going from left to right. Now I might decide I want to drop in some of the light blue, and I just go dip and up. I can rinse my brush if I'd like, but I can also just make sure that I don't mix in the palette, then the colors won't mix. So I can add some of this. If it ever is sticking and this paper is very dry, you need to get a little bit of water to spread it out. So I'm going to dip in my paint. I'm going to get a little bit of white to add a tint of that color, a little bit of water to help spread it around. Now on O'Keefe's, she had this nice color of pink. So I'm going to rinse my brush a little bit and wipe it. So dip, wipe, and swipe. So I'm going to get some of this nice bright pink. Now it's a pretty bright pink, so I am going to need to get some white to add to it, to make it kind of that beautiful light pink in O'Keefe's art. So I can get some regular pink. And I'm not going to be mixing in my palette because other people are using the palette. So I'm going to get some white and I'm going to mix right on top of my paper. So you can see again, I'm going to get some pink. I drop in just pink. And then my brush has a lot of white on it already, so it kind of starts to mix right away, but I can add some more white if I want. I want to make sure I get all the way to the edge of my paper, and if it's starting to get scratchy and kind of bumpy and I want this smooth look, get just a little bit of water. Water will smooth that out really nicely. Okay, maybe I want a little bit more blue on the top between my pink. I'm going to smooth it out. The more I go over it left to right with a little paint and a little bit of water, it becomes really smooth, like O'Keefe's paint in her pictures. So I might add a little bit more purple on the top. I notice this top edge, I can see the paper coming through, so I want to cover up all of the paper, and I just keep going back and forth, left to right. See this edge here? I need to make sure I get that covered up in paint. So maybe I'll get a little bit of purple and go back and forth to fill it up. Okay. Now the top half is a mixture of purples, the light blue, and pink. The bottom half is going to be the dark blue and white. So we're going to be doing tints of this blue, which means we're doing light versions of this blue. So when you have the bottom half, the top half done and the bottom half is waiting to be painted, you can come with the palette and get these 2 colors. So you might need some more white. My white's still pretty clean because I was just dipping. So if you go down and up, it doesn't mix too much. So I'm going to do this nice dark blue right along my pink line. I want to be careful I don't go up into this half because this is the atmosphere. So this will be all the clouds on the bottom. The atmosphere is everything above the clouds. So if you're in an airplane, you'd see the clouds below you and that would be above you. All right, I gotta be careful. I'm starting to go into my pink a little too much. So I'm going to, you can tell, look at, my brush is dry. I need a little bit of water and a little bit more blue. Now I can paint this whole thing blue, or I can already start dipping in my white. So down, up. I'm not mixing in my palette again, I'm mixing on my paper. You're going to be dipping a lot. It gets dry really fast. A little bit of water to help spread that. I need a little bit more water. More blue. So I'm gonna keep working this until this whole area is painted in. Definitely need more blue. So I drop it on and I spread it out, and as soon as it gets scratchy like this, water. So I'm gonna get some water to spread that out. Water, and I could use a little bit of white too. I'm gonna spread this out. Now, keep in mind, I am still going left to right. I am not doing circles, okay? Maybe if it was a storm, but this is a nice calm sky. It's got the smooth lines, just like O'Keeffe's art, and there is no storm. So the sky is smooth, going left to right. And I'm almost out of blue. If this happens, just come find me or raise your hand and ask me to get you more blue, and I can do that. All right, so I just have a couple spots left, I've noticed. So I'm gonna get a little bit of water to spread this color out. And I am still making sure my brush is going from left to right. All right, I think it's all smoothed in. I noticed when I was dipping and wiping, I must not have wiped good enough because I got a little in my sky. So I can just go ahead and add some more purple up there. And I noticed this I took over kind of the pink a little bit. So maybe I want to rinse my brush and kind of smooth out where this blue and the pink is. Maybe get a little bit of white and make that a smooth line between them. You don't want to mix too much or you start to lose the colors that you made. Okay, this would need to go on the drying rack. You can pick up the messy mat with your art and put it on the drying rack to dry. Next week we will be adding clouds to our skies. Have fun.